Okay, y'all can do better than that.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so welcome to Divas Speaks podcast, and we have an exciting episode. Just give me 1 second. I'm getting a lot of echo playback. How do I fix that?
Took one ear.
Take off my
Yeah,
headset?
yeah.
So, hey you guys. Hey you guys. Just 1 second. I want to make sure I'm cute. Let me give you guys a glimpse of the panel. We got a full house, ready to give you a good show once we can get our equipment to functioning. Hey, my Podbeam audience, you can type in a hello. Okay, so this is the official Welcome to Diva Speaks podcast, and thank you for tuning in on this lovely but cold Sunday afternoon. And we have a lot of things we want to talk about today, but first and foremost, you know how I like to do it. I like to thank you guys for supporting and tuning in to Diva Speaks podcast. I know that there are plenty, thousands of podcasts that you could be listening to, but you choose to tune in to Diva Speaks podcast because we are your #1 premier boutique relationship podcast for the Queen City. Am I right, round table panel?
Yes.
Woo! That's right. And we refuse to do anything other than keep it real. So with Diva Speak podcast, what we're not gonna do is the old bait and switch. You know, guys, what people do, like they will you in with all of these very provocative topics and conversations, and the minute that you are tuned into them, then they water the content down. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes.
Okay, so that is not what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is keep it thoroughly salacious, provocative, grown and sexy, but definitely we're gonna remain and stand in our truth. So with all of that, tell your friends about the podcast, share the podcast, and if you have any feedback or comments for me or one of the panel members, you can reach us at divaspeaksofficial@gmail.com, or you can drop a comment or two. Hey Andrew, you can, hey Cameron. Or you can drop a line into the inbox on Diva Speaks Facebook page, and one of us will get back to you. I always tag the members, so feel free to reach out if you have a question, because I'm sure between Richard Jr., Rick, Kia, and Tiffany, you know, who knows what they're gonna say. So who wants to? So, guys, how do you feel about last week's podcast? Before I just jump right in and start talking about what we're really going to talk about. Anybody have any thoughts on last week's episode? Remember, it was bad sex.
My girlfriends and I had a lot of feedback concerning this. They actually had a lot of compassion for Brother Rick. And
wait, who?
For Detroit.
Detroit over here.
Yes, for Detroit.
Okay, guys, hold on. I'm gonna show you Rick. Hold on, just in case you didn't get a chance to view the video of the round table. There's Rick over there. Say hey, Rick.
Hello.
Yes, they were very compassionate with him, and also, spoke about him being compassionate for his girlfriend, and hoped that they would get things worked out, and that the sex would turn around and be very, very good for him. If not, we had some on takers.
He had some takers.
Come on back.
Just come on by.
Come on back. Leave a pie at the door.
I mean, Rick, the conversation really it put you in a positive light.
Yes.
And I guess it had a lot of women really, like Tony said, feeling compassion for you, because who doesn't want a guy who wants to stick around even if her bedroom skills aren't that great to you? You know, so yay, I'm going to give Rick a round of applause. Nobody else gives him a round of applause, you know.
Thank you.
But he changes like the weather, ladies. He changes like the weather.
We have a hater on the side. Please remove this from our site, Lord Jesus Christ.
And hubby and I did a follow-up show after the podcast about the bad sex, because I've invested in a lot of reading materials, because the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement.
Yes.
So what he and I were talking about after the show was ways to improve or to reconnect with your lover, your partner, your boyfriend, your husband, and get it popping again. Sex was created for all of us, and you gotta have some good sex.
Indeed.
Hey, was it Chinwe? Hi, hello, welcome to Diva Speaks. So guys, here's what we're going to talk about today. And this is my disclaimer. If you are really, really, in your feelings about church, this may not be the episode for you, and I can recognize that. Come back and visit us another day. We're going to be talking about illicit affairs in church. We're going to be talking about cheating in church. We're going to be talking about creeping in church. And also part 2 of that, check this out. This is what I really want to talk about too, because I've seen this a lot. Does your pastor get more of your attention and respect than your man / your husband?
Tell somebody.
Wait a minute, I ain't finished. I'm going for the jugular. Do you tend to focus more on church business than your household? Yeah. Well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start off with the illicit affairs in church, because I had to write some notes so that I could stay focused, because it's such a provocative topic. So the question that I'm going to pose is, what do you do when the hell that you're trying to escape, the hell that's got you on your knees, the hell that you are praying about and you are seeking refuge from, has or is now followed you into church? The very place that you're seeking refuge from, this is where all the hell is breaking loose. What do you do? So you're probably saying, Gayla, where you come up with such a very, that's a, sensitive topic? Well, all of us remember a few months ago when the story broke about Pastor Wilson.
Pastor Wilson.
I'm very upset with you internet people. Pastor Wilson was this African-American pastor who was seasoned in age, and he was caught on video performing fellatio on one of the members of the choir. She decided to record him and expose him because he failed to honor his commitment and promise to her to give her a lead solo.
Wow.
Yes. So, that's the backstory behind him being, one of our panel members said, wow. So she chose to expose him. I did my due diligence.
She'd have been singing all day long. La, 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 la.
So, after the story broke, I was so shocked at how the internet took off with it. It took off in a different direction than I really expected. This is why I got Richard sitting beside me today, because he's going to bring it. I know he is. Now, the internet chose to glorify his fellatio skills. They made a mockery of the church. They had memes about sisters whose men weren't acting right. Well, you know what? I'm going to Bible study. I'm going to see Pastor Wilson. Hey, Pastor Wilson. Like, is that where the moral compass of the body of Christ is now?
Shame.
So
The church
with
is
that,
lost its
I
way.
have
Nothing to do with
I've laid the groundwork. I want to hear from some of the round table panel.
Say that again, Detroit.
I said the
Step
church,
to the mic, please.
The church has lost its way a long time ago. It had nothing to do with Pastor Wilson and his behavior. That's why they act the way that they act now.
How so?
How so?
How so?
Then
I don't
the church
think-
has lost its way.
Because if the pastor say, I need $200 to build a new wall around the church, you will take it from your rent money instead of listening to your husband who's saying, we ain't giving him $200 for a church they got a building fund for 20 years, they ain't changed the light bulb.
Wait a minute.
Well.
I need to ask you a question about what you just said. You just said that if the pastor was to ask for $200 to fix something in the church, and he tells his woman or his wife no, that woman is quick to disobey her husband's wishes and go ahead and front the money for the pastor. So doesn't that go back to the question I initially asked?
Indeed.
Are you giving the pastor more respect than you are the head of your household?
A lot of women do.
Well, tell me, why do you think that is?
I see it. I've seen it.
Why? But why do you think
Because
women
I
are
think-
behaving
I
in
think
such a
we
manner?
as a people, we've been brainwashed by the church. That's my opinion.
Facebook audience, he said we've been brainwashed by the church.
To do and act a certain way, to do and act certain things. We don't. The church has more power over a black household than any other household.
I tend to agree with you on that.
Any other household.
Without question.
Yeah, without question.
We don't question it. We just do it.
Yeah. Things that go on in the church. No, don't tell on him because he touched me. Don't do this because he did this. We want to keep it in house. It's crazy.
But that's not just black churches, that's in churches
Yeah,
in
well,
general.
I think it's a
But then
majority
you-
of black
but then-
churches hiding.
But then in defense of the church, we can't point it out as saying the church. The church is an embodiment, is its purpose is what's meant to be. It's great. The church is a great institution when it's ran the way God says it's supposed to be ran. Not the way when man steps in and he forecasts or say what God is foresaying. Now, the understanding is when we talk about Pastor Wilson, you know, you're talking about an internet audience. You're not talking about a church audience. There's a difference. You think about society, we always are excited about things that happen negative. Have you ever posted something positive on Facebook and see how many likes you get, and then you post something negative? Your
Amen.
page
I
shuts
agree
down.
with you on that one.
So in general, when we thinking about that, when we talking about a church, let's just find just what a church is. You know, the church is embodied by Christ. It's not ordained by a man. But see, we get the misconception that when we go to church, the pastor is God. The pastor is just a man just like you is. He sins just like you do. He's no closer to God than you are. He just has a purpose in the church that must be fulfilled because of his calling. Now to understand this, every person that preaches ain't a preacher, and every person that stands in front of you and run a church ain't a pastor.
That might be true, but we tend to put them all on the pedestal.
Yeah, but we always, because people look for someone to justify or how to say, to qualify them.
That's true.
But you can be qualified from your own knowledge of God. You know that a pastor that takes a member to bed for a solo role, come on.
I know it's wrong.
Let me ask you this. Why is it that you think that there seemed to be no focus, no compassion, or no acknowledgement of how this scandal affected his wife? Not one time did I see one person addressing any group on any meme about this woman and what she could be going through in the church, whose husband is the pastor, and she's fellowshipping in the church with the woman that her husband is having the affair with.
Well, maybe because she knows she got to play that role.
No. I understand that. But I'm just saying, it didn't appear that the masses were concerned with her feelings at all. And we're talking about a body of Christians.
But you think about the masses. I mean, if we honest with ourselves,
Let's be honest then.
and well, honesty is that we don't care about the way the ladies feels. We like the juice from this scandal, and that's where we come to as in society. We don't have compassion or how she feels or how he feels or how this is or what she's going through. And the reason why you don't is because you didn't see her on the internet. You didn't see her come out posting her story talking about how hurt she was. So we're not going to be compassionate to say or even think about what she's going through. That's a whole nother dynamics to this story. I mean, I think we should more focus on Pastor Wilson. I mean, first of all, you have a pastor who's called by God to do something and lead people. Allegedly. And then we have a woman who gives up her body for a solo spot in a church.
Mm-hmm.
Really? So, you know, the wrong in all of that is just crazy. And then what's so bad about it is that we have bad people, bad preachers, bad pastors making the church look for what they say bad. Because my eye is this: you can't never make God's house look bad. You only make yourself look bad. And so, you know, not every place that, like I say, got 4 walls and a man standing on the pulpit preaching is a church. And he's definitely not a pastor. Not.
So what do we do? What do we do when there are situations like this that come up within the church? Do we address it? Do we overlook it? Do we say, you know what, this person really isn't of God or is not fit to be a leader for me? Or do we continue to stay there and say, well, he's imperfect?
Does anyone know what the church said or did?
No, that depends.
The
on
focus
person.
wasn't on that.
Oh, there was word.
Yeah, but the truth is we don't stand by and let nobody make God's house look bad. And we definitely don't put him in his spot. Because
Who is we?
Us, the church folks, the people, you know, people in general. I mean, especially the church folks, the people that go to that church. The Bible tells us we need to sit those people down, you know, heal them up, and then maybe put them back. But we just don't sit down or sit back and say, oh, okay, he made a mistake. He did this or he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's making mistakes. Don't get me wrong. But when you take that role, when you sit as a pastor,
Right.
you pray for people. You pray over their lives. God supposed, you know, somewhat comes to you and speaks about these people, giving you messages and stuff that you're supposed to give to them. And yet, you betting them. Or matter of fact, you bargaining in God's house. You gambling in God's house because if you do this, then I give you a solo spot. Seriously?
Yeah,
Are you for real? And don't get me wrong,
Might
because
pay your way into heaven.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's no right here because young lady or not, I mean, she's here selling herself for a solo spot that she don't even get paid for.
What was
Really?
the song?
What was the song?
I don't know, bro.
Rick just asked, what was the song?
I don't know. I just think that we're going down a road where the church is not, and I'll say this, the church is always going to be the church. I just think what we've let in the house is what's damaging the name of the church. And so, you know, you have to recognize that. I mean, we're in the days of times where we all see that this was coming, where the church is no longer the church. We're so busy worried about insignificant things and insignificant people, and we are taking our focus off God's indeed and entitled purpose for all of our lives. I mean, you have a pastor who sits here and he's on Facebook going down on this lady who's in her church, and yet all we see and all we can focus on is his skills.
Yeah, that's what
Are
we've
you
come to.
serious?
I think that my personal opinion is I think that under the premise of forgiveness that people think that the church, to me, the church has become a playground. The church has become a playground for the vulnerable and for predators. Because basically, I hate to say it, at the name of Jesus, you can get most people to do anything by just saying the name Jesus. And it seems like all of their senses fall to the wayside. But I have an even more crazier story than that. So there was this pastor who was over this church in Houston. Him and his wife took over the church, and the wife didn't get along with the congregation like that. They didn't really like her. So they had some struggles back and forth, because they weren't a unit. So the husband ends up having an affair with his son's girlfriend. He has an affair with his son's girlfriend, and the two of them join forces to try and take over the church. But not like you think. What they did is they plotted to get some money from the insurance. So they burnt the church down to get the insurance money. Long story short, the wife wasn't going nowhere. She was on to them, and they plotted and they killed her. They killed the first lady. Now this was on Snapped, Oxygen. The name of the pastor was, I wrote it down because I did my due diligence. I've watched the story on Snap, but I also wanted to make sure I had the name right. Tracy Burleson out of Houston. Now, all of this is going on in the church. All of this was orchestrated by a pastor, an alleged man of God. So not only did he plan to deceive an insurance company, commit arson, commit adultery, commit murder, still in the name of God. This is what's going on in most churches today.
That was not in the name of God.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I said.
Even the Bible tells you the devil got preachers. The devil got soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you're in the church does not mean that you're doing it for God.
Please say that again. Please say that again.
Just because you're doing it in the church does not mean that you're doing it for God.
Why don't most people know that though? Please
Because
tell
people
us,
don't
why
read.
don't you think they know this?
People don't read. People just get to church and listen to what the pastor say. The pastor asks you to pull out the scripture. They pull out their phone. Get distracted with Facebook instead of reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then you got to understand, religion is a very strong tool. I mean, everyone is searching for a spiritual connect.
True.
You hunger for it because it's in you. And so when a man can get up in front of you and say this, and you say that he's preaching, and he's hooping, and he's hollering, and he's got you excited.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Church has become this exciting place.
Entertainment.
But yet, there's no learning. There's no spirit to it. There's no, nothing that changes your life.
Because they're appealing to emotions and they're entertaining now.
Exactly.
It seems like church is geared toward entertaining and feeding you basically side dishes, your favorites. You're used to, you're hearing what you want to hear. You're feeling good. Your adrenaline is running. And you're not really learning because you're on an emotional roller coaster from the time you walk through that door, from the time that the choir sings. It's an emotional song. It either gets you pumped up, like a Kirk Franklin song, or it stirs you emotionally, like Mary, Mary. Either one, I've tapped into your emotions. So by the time it's over with, I mean, your emotions are all out of control. Whatever you're going through or what brought you there to the sanctuary, you're not really focused on learning because you're all out of whack. I mean, that's just my opinion. If someone else has a different opinion, I'm looking live on Podbean. Let me know what your thoughts are. Facebook Live, let us know what you're thinking or what you think of the conversation. But, Kia, you haven't spoke.
Well, I think, too, when you think about Pastor Wilson, it's a lot of preachers in church that are doing exactly what he's doing. They just don't get caught.
Praying on the congregation.
Praying on the congregation,
Mm-hmm.
stepping out on their first ladies,
Mm-hmm.
and they just don't get caught. And if they do get caught, it's not posted on Facebook. If they do get caught, nobody says anything about it, just to keep the church
I'm
to
giving
look
her
like
a
it's
clap.
perfect.
I'm clapping for you. You know what, Kia? I actually wrote that down. The question that I wanted to pose to the panel member is do you think all of these church antics are something new as time has progressed? Or has this been going on all along, and with modern technology, now we're exposing what has went on inside of the church all of these years?
Yep, that's
know?
exactly it. Yep.
So I'm kind of at a loss for words as far as I don't want to step on anybody's toes because church is a holy place for many of us, but it kind of makes you have compassion for the millennials because most millennials are straying away from church.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation the other day. I said, you know, in the next 40 or 50 years, is the church still even going to be around? Because, you know, young adults, you know, they don't go to church anymore. You barely see youth in the church. It's always senior citizens now. And so it's like, is the church even going to be around in the next 40 or 50 years?
Oh my God, I'm a senior citizen.
Yeah, but then, you know, with that concept, you look at the demise of the society that we live in. So here you have the church itself, an institution that was meant to be a place of safety, a place of security, a place that you go to gain knowledge of God. And now you don't have that. So now, as you say, millennials, they get it, or they're trying to get it, or they're not going to get it at all, with the concept of a compassion towards people. Because the concept of the church is love. And that's why we go there. We go there because me, you, Tony, Rick can go and we commune together, we pray together.
That's right.
And so now you have relationship, you have family, and all of that is beginning to disappear with this indifference that we have in the church, with this, let's just call it what it is, it's sin. But we have to be so smart to understand that everybody, the enemy of God is the devil. And we understand that if I'm going to destroy somebody, I got to put my enemy in his camp, wear it out and destroy it. So now here you have, and that's why society is going where it's going. You could take the examples of now, you know, we only pray in schools when we have an incident. As soon as that incident goes away, or we think that everybody is healed, here we go, we stop praying. But in my day, we prayed in church, and people cared a little bit more. You can think what you want to think, but when you start taking God out of the picture of society, when you start moving away from the church, then where do you go to talk to God? Where do you go to speak to God? Where do you go to commune, even with each other? And that's the biggest thing about a lot of churches and church itself. You go there to commune with other fellow people who love God. And so now we're moving away from church. So where do you get this teaching from? Where do you learn about the love of God? Where do you learn about the love for the people that we see each and every day? And we see it as our society begins to just demise. Killings here, killings there, kidnappings here. No one is respecting each other. It's just getting total chaotic.
I agree. You know, I was listening on my ride to work on Friday, and I already knew what we were going to be talking about. But the universe, you know, just was throwing me great information. The Strawberry Letter was about something similar. The Strawberry Letter that Shirley Strawberry read on the Steve Harvey Morning Show went something like, it was this young lady in the church. Her father was the pastor, and she had a crush or something. It went something like she had a crush on one of the ministers, or the minister had a crush on her. It was a mutual attraction, but he was married. And everybody in the church knew that she was, I guess, I don't know why it was their business to know, but that she was a virgin. And he walked her to the car one day and told her that he would love to be the one to help her explore her sexuality. Like, this is going on. Like, you know, this is what's happening, people, in church. And until people have the conversation, it's going to continue, because people are getting bold now, you know. People are getting bold. The sins that we used to, you know, kind of sweep under the rug. And, you know, it was like you just don't talk about such things. They're bold enough to do it in the open now. They don't care who knows. And most cases, it turns out like a Pastor William. It just gives them more fame, or makes people more interested in their antics, or give them more lovers to pursue. Rick, you look like you want to say something.
In my opinion, I think the church gave up on people long before people gave up on the church.
What do you mean by that?
Ooh,
Because I think
that's heavy.
That is
back
heavy.
in the day, you could go to the church, you could talk to the pastor. Now you gotta make an appointment and give a donation. To talk to one of the deacons. It is not like it used to be before.
And you can't even talk to the deacons now, because they'll go tell your business.
What?
Oh. Yep.
Really? Don't know. I couldn't tell you. I have to, you know, I'm standing in my truth. I haven't really committed to any church since I moved here from Dallas, Texas, and I was attending.